Max Greenfield, the third season of New Girl, recently finished, during which your character Schmidt juggled two women, Cece and Elizabeth, and then ended up losing both of them. Were you sad that he lost them both, or do you think he kind of had it coming?
I think he. I don't know. Was I sad? I think I was a little sad. Yeah. I mean, we were going for something that I hope came across. I don't think it fully came across the way that we were and the way that we had hoped it would, which was that he was so fully in love with both of them that he just couldn't bring himself to hurt either one of them. So I think I was sad in that sense that, you know, it ended the way that it did, and he wasn't able to be honest with either one of them and be an adult about it.
After everything blew up with, they found out about each other and he lost them both, Cece, of course, stayed with the show, and she's around for you to potentially reconcile with, but that was the last we saw of Elizabeth, who was played by Merritt Wever. Do you think there's room for any future redemption there? Might we ever see her again?
With Merritt?
Mm-hmm.
I sure hope so. If only for the opportunity to have Merritt come back to the show. I just think she's incredible, and it's one of those things where, like, if you're lucky enough to work with actors who are genuinely better than you, your game is so stepped up, and I can't tell you how much I enjoyed my experience working with Merritt and what she brought to the show, and man, if she could come back, it would be just the best.
And Merritt ended up winning an Emmy last year. She won for.
No, I was so happy.
Yeah.
Remember that moment? Like,
really
you remember that movie Miracle with Kurt Russell?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he goes in the like they beat, I think they beat like Russia or something, and then he goes out into like the hallway where nobody can see him, and he just has like a real like. That's kind of how I felt when she won, and then she gave just what I thought was the most authentic speech I had ever heard.
Yeah, it seemed sort of shy. We see her on screen in these very open roles, and she seemed very shy when she was on stage winning for that.
I mean, look, it's a very odd thing. It's super overwhelming. It's definitely not anything that you certainly don't show up to work every day because you're hoping that you're going to win a trophy. So. I think when you are to receive that much accolade and love is definitely an overwhelming feeling, and I think for Merritt, she just was completely overtaken by it all and was just like, oh my God. which, by the way, I feel like for the most part, people can understand, and you just think to yourself like, man, oh man, that's pretty honest.
After losing both of those women, we saw, for a brief moment, a much darker side of Schmidt. He tried to take vengeance against Nick and Jess. Did you enjoy getting to play that sort of more villainous side of him, or did you miss the more lovable Schmidt?
It was fun for a change. I mean, as an actor, it was great. I don't know how people responded to it outside of the show, but as an actor, it was a lot of fun. I think Breaking Bad had just finished, and I think we were kind of like, yeah, man, yeah, Schmidt's going like full Walt.
Yeah, so we'll see Lab next season, right?
I think there was then like an audience reaction to it, and they were like, pull him back, he's gotten too mean.
So you don't think we'll see evil Schmidt emerge again, in the near future?
I can't imagine that you would see evil Schmidt ever again in the history of New Girl.
He had a number of other love interests last season, including a very intense fling with Jess's sister, played by Linda Cardellini.
Yeah.
That was a much different dynamic from your previous relationships on the show. What was it like playing that storyline with her?
Well, it was cool. It was fun because they put Schmidt in a situation where after the whole breakup, he had gotten angry and then sad and like really apologetic about the whole thing. So it was nice to see him back in an excited and like in an excited state with this new girl and just kind of having fun again. Even though it probably wasn't the best relationship for him, he was like, I'm having a good time. This is good.
A lot of relationship shakeups during the third season. We saw Nick and Jess finally come together as a couple, and we saw how they worked, and in some cases didn't work as a couple. Do you think their relationship had an effect on the ensemble dynamic of the show?
Um, I mean, yeah, of course. I think, I think yes. I mean, obviously, no matter how it played out, it would have had an effect on the show. But because those characters then became kind of one, it was like you have Coach and Schmidt and Winston and Nick and Jess, and like Nick and Jess became a character, and as opposed to what the show used to be, which is Nick and Jess. So I think that's what changed. I think it changed it in a myriad of different ways, but I think specifically you basically combined the two characters, and because they're such strong characters on the show, we were kind of at the whim of whatever tone they were playing.
Schmidt also temporarily moved into his own apartment across the hall. He was still a major part of the ensemble, but during that part of the storyline, did you miss sort of being in that apartment dynamic?
No, I was excited to be across the hall. Look, at some point, one of these guys has got to move out of this apartment. They're in their 30s. Somebody's got to get a place of their own. Just make it like Friends. I would have just kept them across the hall, and then there would have been like the two apartments, and then you could have different people move in and out. And I'm spending the night with you, Schmidt. Great, and all of a sudden, Coach is living over there. But yeah, I thought it was fun.
Speaking of Coach, we saw Damon Wayans Jr. return to the show this season as Coach. He was in the pilot episode, but he couldn't remain with the show because at the time Happy Endings had been renewed for that season.
Yeah.
Was it did you know it was an immediate decision to bring him back once he became free again?
I know we were definitely, as actors, really excited about the possibility. We really pushed to have him come back. When he did the first episode, it was so much fun just having him around. We were like, just stay. We really want you to stay, Damon. Yeah, I mean, we're lucky enough to be in a situation where, as a cast, we all really get along, and Damon adds such a great energy, and we thought, it's we're in season 3. We've done close to 70 of these. Let's mix it up. It's you kind of hope for new energies and new people to come in and just kind of mix up what we have been doing, so it doesn't remain stale.
Was it easy to settle back into that dynamic you guys had in the pilot? For his first episode back.
Yeah, it was cool because we all know Damon. Jake knows him very well, having worked with him over the summer in Let's Be Cops. So it was really seamless.
Lamorne Morris was brought into the show after the pilot, and so those are two people we haven't seen interact until now. Him and Coach. Was that interesting to see how that would play out, how their personalities would mix and gel together?
Yeah, I was really happy about how it turned out with the two of them. On Lamorne's part as an actor, you probably are thinking like, oh man, the guy who originally got the role is now back, and you could see how that might make you like insecure or kind of, I don't know. this is a business. People get fired, and like you probably think like, here we go. This is the beginning of the end for Winston. And you know, I give Lamorne so much credit in how he kind of took on the role and took on the responsibility, and how the writers handled it and put them together and made them really close friends and made them like have this combative attitude towards each other and competitive attitude towards each other. And the stuff that they have and how they interact is so funny. And you know, we have so much fun with it on set, watching them just kind of go. And it was really fun. It was really fun to see.
Well, now that you've had a chance to, we've had a chance to see how that whole group works together, and now Damon Wayans is returning for next season as a regular. Is it exciting to know that you're going to have that group dynamic now on a more permanent basis?
Yeah, I mean, we felt like it was pretty permanent last year, even knowing that he might not come back next season. So I don't think it'll be much different. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting to have him there and know that the whole team is back.
You earned an Emmy nomination 2 years ago for supporting actor in a comedy. If you're nominated again this year, do you know what episode you might submit to Emmy judges from the past season?
Gosh, I don't know. I kind of like the episode where Cece, I think it's maybe the third episode of the season where it all kind of comes to a head with Elizabeth and Cece in the beginning, and he kind of has to apologize in the restaurant to her, which she then walks out of. I like that episode. I thought it was a good one as an actor to kind of play kind of a range of different emotions, and I liked the scene where I eventually kind of just am wrought with guilt, and I'm just like begging her and kind of coming clean in that restaurant. And we worked pretty hard on what that scene was supposed to be. I think we reshot the original version of it because we realized it needed more weight. And I liked what we ended up with, or where we ended.
When do you go back to start filming the new season?
We go back, I believe, the first week of August.
Do you have already any ideas about what the writers have in store for Schmidt?
I have no idea.
Do you have a?
I've pitched that Schmidt and Winston join the Kiss Army. I think it's a phenomenal idea, and gives the writers just an array of different storylines and directions to go with it. But it's fallen on deaf ears, as far as I know. They have something planned. I don't know what it is.
Towards the end of last season, Cece met a younger Australian man, and they started dating. Do you think that could come to a head-to-head? Do you think Schmidt could take him ultimately?
Do I think I could take him? What, like in a fight? I don't know. Those Aussies and stuff. Look. Who knows whether he's going to come back? I have no idea what's happening. Who knows?
Now, last year, we talked to you last year, and we found out that you were going to reprise your role as Leo in the Veronica Mars movie, and now that film has been made, and it came out in March. Now that all is said and done, what was it like to be able to return to that role?
It was it was really cool. It was a cool project to be a part of. When you show up to a set like that, there's a lot of excitement. You feel like a real responsibility to the fans who especially in this situation, who had kind of put up their own money. But it was fun, It was fun to be like, oh, we're doing this again. This is cool. And I think the scene turned out really well. I was happy that they called me and asked me to be a part of it. and that they didn't cut me out of the movie.
Well, I want to congratulate you on the third season of New Girl and going into the fourth season, and hopefully, fingers crossed for the Emmys this year. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it.